So I know everybody's been thinking about it and asking it. Like I have a lot of realtor clients that I look at, and I want to know from you, like, what is it? Well, how's it working now? Trying to sell real estate during this pandemic. I still see a lot of movement on Instagram, but I'm just a little bit perplexed by like what's actually really happening.
So right now it's a little bit more on creativity. Well, first thing like I know that I did was actually I took like a few, like probably 2 weeks or so, just to check in on my clients, just to strictly non-business. Hey, how are you doing? How's everything? Are you okay? Is there something you need? A lot of the real estate that I sell is also near me, so if somebody would need like milk or something like that and not able to, just more of as a resource. I have clients that are pregnant, had just moved nearby that I told that in our area it took them a little longer than most, but they let them do like the 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. like little structure that they can get food before everybody else, so like the elderly and the pregnant. So I was more of a resource in that sense. Like that's more what I did, because I needed to just make sure that everyone was okay. Like for my sense, like I needed to make sure that my clients were okay, because as you know, I treat them like family. So I really just wanted to see if everyone's okay. After that, it just truly became just check-ins, like, hey, are you okay with going shopping? Are you not? And just everything changed, as we know, from literally 3 days or 4 days, everything changed. That being said, once the governor lifted the ban even on realtors, just communicating and over communicating with my clients, letting them know, hey, for our showings, you are going to need a mask, you are going to need gloves. I don't have any extra masks anymore, but I do have extra gloves, so if you need them, don't touch anything. Even today when I did my showings, I opened the doors, I turn on the lights, try to keep them from an excessive like ability to touch surfaces. Hey, take off your shoes.
Right.
Just kind of those precautions, and just letting them know that now we have to, something came out from the National Association of Realtors that we needed to hold called a hold no harmless release. So it's kind of saying, hey, as far as I know, I'm signing that I have not been in contact with anybody with COVID-19. I have not had any symptoms, or if I was for the last 14 days. There's just a couple disclosures now that are needed. Yes, like a release form.
Got it.
So that's new. That was like a little like, that's still a little bit new, because I think people freak out a little bit. And that's when it gets real. That's when I think clients really get real, like, okay, let me just make sure that, I haven't had any issues. So that's something that's definitely changed. Virtual tours were before kind of like, if you have the money, if you
Right.
have the money, if you have the money, this is really cool. And this can help you with branding. This can help you like, impress your clients. For most people, it wasn't as necessary, because you could still sell the property. You could still do your, market, and you were okay. When this happened and there were still properties coming on the market, and they're just slower, but they're still coming on the market, or they're still selling, it
Right.
became you calling those agents and saying, hey, do you have a virtual tour? No. Okay, so can you take one? Like, the way I tell the agents, mainly because sometimes they're a little older, I was like, listen, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be the 300 man. Like, I don't need that. I just need like you to use your phone, try your best, and I swear, like, we're just going to try to make it work. And I did. Thankfully, I convinced one agent. She did it on YouTube, and I thought it was so cute, because I was like, good for you. I was like so proud of her, like in the daughter mom moment. And she did, and my client he did like it. He ended up backing out for like payment and estimates or something. But I just thought that was so cool, because I was able to show in a time where it was so hectic. Now I think it's
Now
starting.
you're forced to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Now, like, you have to do it. So there's no other option.
Yeah, so we did that. Also, I did for my own personal properties that are with multifamilies, and they don't want to show. We came up with a couple different ideas. So we did like the WhatsApp, like the video, like just go that, or go live like on FaceTime, and just kind of like walk there as they walk through the house or downstairs. So we just had to get creative. We had to get really creative to try to make that work.
Well, the good thing is you guys have all the tools. Like, you can do other things like setting up a separate Instagram story on your Instagram per property and just save it while you walk through yourself. Like, there's a lot of different options. Like, it's not 2005, you know?
Yeah. And that's so funny because I remember when I went to a broker's open and I knew that that house was for my client, I actually did that. I
Nice.
was on my Instagram story and was like taking the video and text my client and said, go on IG and go on my story. Like, that's the house I think is good for you. Because at that time, I just didn't have like, like sometimes like if you do your video too long, then it doesn't always, translate or whatever. And then I was like, that was like the quickest thing I could think of. And they ended up buying that house.
Nice.
So it worked out, but that's exactly like the stuff that started to come back to my head. I'm like, wait, I've done this. I've just done different avenues, but I've done this before.
Nice. So it's basically forcing all realtors to think more digital fast, because now there was a lot of excuses before. Now it's like, oh, I'm not good in front of video. I don't have the technology. Now it's like, well, what other option do you
Well, there's some, I know in my marketplace that there's a lot of
have?
realtors that have just completely stopped. They've
Right.
halted. They just are not going to. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I respect that.
Right.
However, I'm full time, so I gotta get creative. Like, I gotta figure this out
Right.
as
Yeah.
much as I can, and also for my clients because I know that they're not gonna be serviced the way I service them. So if I let them to somebody else, I know it's just not gonna go right anyway.
Got it.